Hey, it's Presley Tennant, and I'm with McMahon on keys. And then...
You know we're rolling.
We're rolling.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, I'll look for my notes on camera.
Rolling.
I'm not scared to admit.
Rolling on the... I just changed keys like 6 times. That's like, what key are we in?
I don't know. I just want to sing. Jazz.
The jazz fingers come out.
I'm feeling a lot of girl power at this table right now.
You could join in if you want. You got the hair for it. Sorry.
Hey,
I've had so much caffeine today, and it's finally hitting.
Presley Tennant, thank you for swinging by.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
I'm thrilled to. I have actually been made aware of you by some of your things beforehand, and then this is our first time here. So when you showed up on the radar, I knew. Well, I was excited. I figured you'd be on board.
Yeah.
So
well, thank you guys.
Now you've done CRS before, I'm assuming.
Yes, this is my third one.
Okay.
And it's been incredible. CRS is one of my favorite times to come out here. And I think it's because when you I don't know, seeing people or talking to them over the phone, and then you finally get to see them face to face. It's
right.
I don't know, it's special.
Yeah.
There's something about it.
Well, I know you were just saying that you're out here intermittently.
Yes.
You did the whole TV thing from California. You're still in California. So when you first started with CRS, was that the beginning of building relationships, co-writing, I'm assuming?
Yes and no.
No?
I feel like, so I've been coming out to Nashville since I was 18.
Okay.
And so I started coming out here co-writing with different writers and different producers and things like that. And so I kind of got a little foundation going from that point on. I wasn't out here consistently. It was maybe once every 6 months, every 4 to 5 months. And then just up until last year, I had been out here once a month on the clockwork type thing. And then all of last year it was writing nonstop and kind of getting the catalog going, and then so I can see which ones I want to put out first or which ones kind of rising to the top. And so now I'm very excited because this trip that I was here on right now, I cut some songs, so I'm getting ready to release very soon. And I'm very excited for that. I love coming out here. I feel like there's so much magic out in Tennessee. And California has the same thing, but it's a different type of magic. So
well, and your California is not what people think of as California.
That is also very true.
I mean, you know more than I do, but my understanding of where you are in California is not, it's not the city, it's not all of that stuff. I mean, it's very
rural.
Yeah.
So we're a small little horse town.
Right.
A lot of people don't know where it's at. Whenever I say Norco, they're like, "Oh, you're up north," and I'm like, "I'm about 2 hours from Mexico, so not quite."
Yeah.
But it's a small little horse town called Norco, and it's about 25 minutes away from Disneyland if you're lucky with traffic.
Cool.
Yeah. I always say if you put LA, Palm Springs, and San Diego in a triangle, I'm just right in the middle of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you weren't plugged in here. You were there, still Horsetown, blah, 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 blah. How did you get involved with The Voice? What were you doing that led you to that?
So at that time, I was posting a lot online with covers and things like that. I was still releasing music, but I was 15-ish.
Yeah.
15, 16. It's really hard to write about stuff when you're 15, 16. And
Right.
it's make it relatable for over the age of 15, because it's oh, you're in high school, what?
Right.
You're singing about not going back to school type thing. I was also late to the game for everything else, so I was I just I don't know, wasn't about the relationship type thing. So I was I can't really write about that. I don't know about it. But I just started posting covers online for the most part, and then they had reached out to me when I was about 13 years old, and then I couldn't do it because the age limit was 15. And then I was 14, they reached out again, and then I still couldn't do it. And by the time that I was 16, they reached out one more time, and I'm so glad it worked out then, because I felt like I was finally at the point where I could hang with everybody.
Right.
Because, the people that I was surrounded by have been doing this their entire life, and longer than I've been alive. But I had put a lot of time and effort into music. I've been in the music industry since I was 10 years old, and going to rehearsals 5 days a week in LA, and I was homeschooled, so I could do all of it. I can go to rehearsal during the day, come back, do soccer practice at night, and then homework
So what was you being in the music industry? What were you doing?
I was in a girl group. called the 5 LPs, the 5 Little Princesses. We were a pop Christian girl group, pink tutus out to the side, knee-high bedazzled Converse, like the whole shebang. And all the other girls, they were professional dancers. Like some of them were on the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Like I'm like, they were all hands on deck. And I was like, I could do a somersault. Like I was like, I might be able to move, but I don't think I can. But that's where I got my start into the music industry and where I fell in love with performing, writing, recording, rehearsing, every little bit of it. I was like, just give me all of it. I will be there. And so from that point, the group ended when I was 13 and I continued on doing music, but solo. And then when I was 16, I finally went on The Voice and I learned so much about not only as an artist, but who I am as a person, like outside of music and who I want to be surrounded by and what I want to say within my music and outside of it. I mean, I got to work with my idol, Kelly Clarkson, so that was also a dream come true. And then, I don't know, after that, I started coming out to Nashville, and it's been just such a whirlwind. And I'm so grateful for every bit of this journey that I've been on.
Well, I know...
Sorry, that was so much talking.
No. Well, you actually addressed a few things that I mean, I want to dig into a little bit further, but to start with just you going on the show, one thing that's better about you being 16 instead of 13 is you're able to form opinions about some of the stuff that's happening. Yeah. I mean, you would know more than I because you were doing the American Idol thing.
Huge Kelly Clarkson fan.
She is.
I know. Yes.
She could sing the damn phone book. I'd be like, girl, preach it.
Yeah, and I bet she was an awesome coach, you know, just having that background being on the show herself with American Idol. But yeah, how was it? How is she? Like what all did you get from her?
She is one of the most genuine human beings I think I ever met. Yeah. And I think for me, I already had like this opinion of her of like she is like, I don't know, she is like the biggest one. Like she is one of my idols. Like, doesn't matter what she did. Like I'd be like, oh my God, I love her.
She's a good role model. And like she's just happy and energetic. I mean, nothing.
And it when I came in, and people say like don't meet your idols because as soon as they don't live up to it, it's like everything drops. But
she does.
But she is exactly who she is on TV and so much more.
I love that.
And I'm like, I remember, I think it was my top 24 performance, and she pulled up and she was just at like a bag of Taco Bell wearing like an In-N-Out shirt, and I was like, girl, you're my spirit animal. I was like, I love this. And it was supposed to be only like a 30-minute rehearsal. It ended up being 2 hours just because she sat down and she was like mentored me. Yeah. And I think that was the coolest part about it.
What was something that you took away like within that, you know, mentorship? Like what?
I think the biggest thing for me, it was during that same time, and she told me, she said, at the end of the day, you have to go home and look at yourself in the mirror and say that you're proud of yourself. And no one else is going to believe in you as much as you'd believe in yourself. So, like, they're only going to push you so far. So you have to be so confident that everyone else also believes it.
Right.
And that's something that really stuck with me because I felt like I was kind of going through a little emotional process as an artist where you're like, okay, I'm writing music, but it's not who I am, but it's still not bad music, but it's not for me. Yeah. And so I was kind of going through that time. And when she said that, I was like, I know where my heart is now. And so I came off the show, and then I took a little step back trying to reconfigure everything and just clear mind going into it. And I found my way back to country music, and I was like, I love every bit of this.
Well, I want to ask you about that break, that stop. But I talked to a friend of ours that that was more familiar with that journey than I was. So tell me who this is and push play.
What's up, Jeff? It's your boy Manny Cabo here, coming to you live from the freezing Garden State, New Jersey. And I don't know, a little birdie told me that you've got a very special guest coming on the show. That's right, and a fellow The Voice sister, Presley Tennant, who rocked my podcast, and I'm sure she's going to rock yours as well. So, what's up, Jeff? And hello, Presley. Hope you guys have an amazing show. And I also heard you guys are rocking it out at CRS. And believe me, I'd much rather be over there partying hard.
He's so awesome.
So have an incredible show once again. As always, much love and peace, and live to.
Oh my God, I love Manny. He's so awesome. Yeah, he's so sweet. He's incredible, and he can sing his butt off. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, of course, that's Manny Cabo.
Yep.
Who
He was on The Voice and La Voz.
Right.
I probably am not saying it right.
Yeah,
I'm not.
yeah, La Voz.
La Voz.
Yeah.
There we go. I told you.
Yeah, we got to maintain
I'm
the
really
cultural
white.
relevance of that. Yeah, and I actually was listening to his podcast, Mojo for Musicians, and heard your interview with him.
Yeah.
And he and I kind of crossed paths during that time when he was building that and getting all that started. And I heard you talking about the break.
Yeah.
And it seems like, and you can tell me where I'm wrong, but so many people, in order to fully capitalize on those shows, The Voice, what you have to do is maintain your momentum.
Yeah.
You've got to take it. You really have to generate it during the show.
Yeah.
So many people think that, well, after the show, you'll have all this stuff. It's like, no.
You got to be
You have to
working
build
on
it during the show,
Yeah.
so you can keep it going. It feels like when I listen to you talk, thank God for the spotlight, because it made everything bright enough for you to see, oh, this is what it is. Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah.
That's why you stepped away, because if not for that environment, you wouldn't have known what was going on.
Yeah.
And when you talk about, I forget what your exact words were, finding yourself or knowing.
Like knowing who you are within the inside.
Right.
So it shows on the outside, not where
Right.
you're trying to be something that you aren't.
It seems like that you were maybe kind of okay with the mix of music and the mix of things, what was going on, until there were people there that were nudging you.
Yeah.
And in truth, I mean, all of us in the music industry we're not going to go any further if we think we know everything. So you're still trying to listen.
Yeah.
And at some point, that was what Kelly was saying. Then don't listen.
Yeah. I think I've always been a firm believer, as soon as you stop listening and you stop learning, that's when you reach your limit and you're no longer able to grow.
Right.
And I think that's a very normal thing. It doesn't matter what industry that you're in, even if it's school. It's like when you're done listening, you're not gonna learn anything. But for myself, I always wanted to give something a try. I was never gonna say no to anything. I always try to go into things with open minds, but sometimes it just doesn't work out, and that's normal. But I think during that time, it was right before The Voice, and I remember I was writing songs, and I got to one point where I was like, I feel like I'm not that I wasn't being heard, but maybe I wasn't explaining myself the way that I wanted it to come off.
Right.
And so I remember sitting there and I was driving and I was like 2 hours to the studio and I was just like, what am I doing? It was kind of like that self-realization moment where I was like, I feel like I'm trying to be, it would have been something different if I was trying to be something that I could be.
Right.
Or just an extension of myself. But it was night and day, like between who I was as a person and who I was outside of music or through music. It was like I was not the cool kid. I was not like I was called No Personality Presley for the longest time, and I was like, I swear I have one. You just don't see it. Like it was like one of those things, and so it was. I was the life of the party that I was never invited to. It was very fun.
Doesn't rhyme with fatty.
You know what?
I know.
But that builds character. I think being bullied builds
character. Yeah.
So
I wasn't
trauma.
bullied. They would just make fun.
We're trauma bonding now.
Yeah. I used to get ice cream every day at lunch.
Hey, girl, eat that ice cream. I'll love me some.
I know.
I
thought
drove
it was normal.
home and I passed by an Andy's and I was like, I might go get 4 sundaes right now. It's one of those things. I was like, it sounds great. But it was, I was trying to be something that I wasn't. And I also was 15, 16 at the time. And I wasn't trying to grow up a lot faster than I wanted to. I was okay with living in the moment. I was like, I have the rest of my life to be on my way and do all those things.
And you're 16. You don't know that with the clarity that you can say that now.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I heard you say something about not being listened to. Yeah. And I realize how many different reasons that can be. One, if you're not listening to me, then I'm not the authority. No. 2, I'm not going to listen to you because you don't even believe what you're doing right now. Why am I going to listen to you guide me? Or maybe something as simple as you don't know the keys to your songs.
Yeah.
So which is one of the first things I always advocate. I'm not even saying it's fair. I'm just saying it's true.
Yeah.
If you're a girl and you don't know the keys to your songs, you're not going to be given as much credibility.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's not fair. It's still true.
Yeah.
So when you go through all of that and you step away and you get that greater sense of clarity on what you want to do, more so than pop versus country.
Yeah.
How do you frame that for yourself? What is it that you feel like now you figured that out? What is it beyond just country? Is it, I know what I want to say, I know what I want to represent?
I think for me, it was the storytelling.
Yeah.
I wanted to write lyrics that really mattered to me, that things that if they were heavy on my heart, or if I just had something that I really wanted to say within my music, I wanted to be able to do so while also being, I don't know if the right word is, because I feel like in pop music, everything is very, not always, there's so much pop music that has a greater meaning, but I feel like a lot of it is very surface level. But I still love a good pop song. I still get down to a good pop song. But for me, I just wanted to be able to write things that really mattered to me. And I grew up listening to country music.
Yeah.
And that's what I first started singing. It was country music, then I went to musical theater, and then I went to pop. I did a little bit of it all. And so, and being from Norco, everywhere you go, you listen to country music. It just kind of brought me back to like, okay, this feels right. And I would say nowadays, because country music has changed in so many different ways, it's not what it used to be, that I'm able to kind of grab influences from everywhere else as well.
Sure.
And make it my own little thing. And so I feel like the switch to country, I don't know, I've been so grateful for all of it. And I felt like this is like the lane where I feel the most comfortable at. But still also pushing myself outside my comfort zone, because as soon as you do that, then you get inside, that's the new normal type thing.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't sound like it was a switch to country. It sounds like it was more of a return.
Yeah.
So, welcome back.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I was like, I feel so welcomed.
So as we wrap up, and I want to make sure that they know how to find all of your stuff. What would you point everybody to of your more recent recordings that you feel like is a good representation of, if you want to listen to this one thing, don't listen to those things that are out there from The Voice. Don't listen to you're going to listen to one thing that's who I am. What is it?
I would say you can go listen to How Many Kisses.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs. That I wrote that song with Mary Sue England and Victoria Banks, and it was one of my first writes out here in Nashville. I don't know, that song is very special to me, and I think because it kind of has like a little bit like the blues kind of soul thing with like the country, and then I'm able to really sing, but there's also new music coming out very soon. Yeah.
Good. Well, we'll be listening for that.
Thank you so much.
I know what I'll be listening to on my way home. Let everybody know how to keep an eye on the upcoming release.
You guys can find me on all my social media, which is at Presley Tennant. So PresleyTennant, or you can go to my website, which is PresleyTennant.com, and that has everything from new music to tour, merch, whatever you can think of, it's all there.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for having
Appreciate
me.
you.
Oh my goodness. I'm hitting all the microphones
That's
now.
all good. It's all good. They're paid for. So enjoy the rest of CRS.
Thank you so much, you guys. Appreciate it.
For more clips from CRS, click the top button. And if you're interested in full episodes of the McMahon on Keys podcast, including live performances with our guests, click the bottom button. Until next time, this is McMahon on Keys.